I'm a little
shaky today.
Jane's mom died last night.
Oh,
And,
oh, gee. Sorry to hear that.
Jane's off to
Yeah.
Washington.
Mm.
And it's just been a one of those times that I'm just
Well, you want to take a break?
nope.
No. Persevere. Huh? Okay.
I think I'll be better for persevering. Yes.
All right. That's all right too.
And I think Bill will be coming.
Oh, good.
Nice to hear that you're doing well.
Yeah, well, I say that.
I see.
It's been one of those days that kind of, you know, I didn't sleep well last night.
I didn't either.
And I usually, I don't have this happen very often, but I hit this sack around 9:30, 10, read till 11:30. I figured that's about enough. And I couldn't go to sleep. I felt I was like wide awake until somewhere around 2.
Huh.
And then I must have dozed off after that because I remember seeing 2 o'clock on the clock.
Wow.
And I was like wide awake.
Huh.
I tried reading, tried getting up, glass of milk. I think I had taken one of the gummies, but that I couldn't remember, so I know I didn't want to take 2. Not at 2 o'clock in the morning, because then I'd still be a little stupid when I get up in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
They don't affect me that much, but they do allow me to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's only 5 milligrams.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And usually I wake up refreshed and ready to go.
Well,
anyway, maybe it's the weather. I don't know. Well, it's also January.
yes.
There's that.
It is January, isn't it?
Yeah. There's that, which is usually when I, hit my emotional low points. It's time for reflection, time to, regroup. Easier to get my feet in here if I take my socks out.
That might help.
So, I'm sorry to hear about James' mom.
Well,
does she have sisters or brothers or?
A sister and a brother.
Okay.
And her brother's on the way from New Mexico, and
all right.
They're all meeting up in Washington.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they can get together, because
sure,
it's a little bit of a difficult time.
Yeah. Was it anticipated?
Well, she was 97.
Okay, that's when my mother died.
And she's been mentally going downhill for 4 or 5 years. But physically just fine.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days ago, she started having a little difficulty breathing, and she gradually went away.
Yeah.
3:30 this morning, she passed away.
Yeah.
And she was a lovely lady. She'll be missed by a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they could get together, because I remember when my mom died, I went through a pretty difficult emotional time. That's when Peaceful Wolf appeared.
Really?
Well, I I had studied Jinshin-Do in school,
Yeah.
and I did a whole series of sessions with my teacher, and she had taught, and I was familiar with, but she was using with me a system that was, so not a system, a method that had been developed by a psychiatrist on the West Coast, which he if you were a psychiatrist, you worked it one way. If you were somebody like a massage therapist or a Jinshin-Do therapist, you did it slightly differently. But it was based on, he started out by basing it on the 7 sections of an Alaskan totem pole, which he recognized at some point correlated with the 7 chakras. And he developed this system in which you, as a massage therapist, you guided your client to identify 7 animals, people, whatever, at each of the chakras. And they form a internal committee that the individual carries on discussion about whatever the problem is internally, which allows someone like a massage therapist not to try to be a psychiatrist, but to stay outside of the discussion. So anyway, she did that whole thing with me, which was very successful, and I had a wolf who looked very much like the picture on the bulletin board at my throat chakra. And he has remained with me. And that's where Peaceful Wolf came from.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of history.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how those things evolve.
Yeah.
They show up.
It was interesting, having learned that system and then actually doing it.
Yeah, that's 2 different things.
Yeah.
Hello. Hey, Bill.
Bill,
Hi.
how are you?
So today I am outnumbered by Daves and Davids.
Well,
not to be confused.
it'll probably do you good.
I hope so.
Jane is not home. If Jean wants to come in, she could.
She's okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting how, I don't know if I ever told you, I was, let's see, Meryl and I were up in Rhinebeck. And, of course, that's where Omega Institute is.
Yeah.
And I think we went to see, it was an outside art exhibit. Storm King was out there. So anyway, we finished with that, and we knew that Omega was there, and we never had a chance we knew about it and read about it and so forth. Never had a chance to actually get down there. We knew they had a bookstore, so that was the big draw. So I drove down, I was like, and I was kind of on the way home. And I went in, and this is, oh man, I had to be in my 50s-ish, maybe late 40s. And I had already, on my spiritual journey, I'd already gone through that whole thing where you just read everything you can get your hands on, do all the workshops and, that come to you.
Yeah.
And the retreats and all that stuff. And of course I wanted to get into the bookstore, so which we did. And in about 15 minutes I probably had, about 10
Yeah.
books and wondered how I was going to carry the rest of them. And then it was almost like this voice just said, put the books back and do it. You know, it was one of those transit. It was like, you've already read enough. And I really did feel full at that time. I just was overflowing with information, but I didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And so just put the books back. You already know how to do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And I went back and I think I ended up with one or two as references. And that was it. And then I started talking more with people who would just show up. And that's when I was training at Pfizer. And I had an office with a door. And people would just come in, shut the door, and sit down and not talk about work. You know, they'd be talking
I
about
like it.
something else, you know, spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
So I seemed to have drawn them in, or at least they knew they could come and have these conversations and so forth.
Yeah.
But it was that, you know, the transition between just kind of thinking about it, studying and blah, blah, practicing, and then just do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And,
Hey, what are you talking about spiritual?
well, at that time, how much time do we have? I got close to, well, this is when I started to talk about my own, and David already knows, because ever since I've been coming to class, we get into these discussions.
Yes, we do.
And we don't forget the practice, we just sit and talk. But, yeah, I started having, people would come and just talk about stuff, you know, spiritual stuff. And apparently I had that gift to be able to, not at first talk about it, because I just didn't have the language.
Yeah.
And that's the doing piece.
Yes.
And then once I started talking about it, and I got very comfortable with that language, it came a lot faster. And then when I retired, I didn't know what I was going to do in retirement, but spiritual direction showed up. And that was the 2-year course up in Hartford that I went through. Well, and I also started going to Insight Meditation Society and doing retreats up there. It's a Buddhist center up in Massachusetts, up in Barre, Mass. And I ended up doing the 6-week silent retreat, which was just amazing to be able, and I wanted to do, I couldn't wait to get up there. I was a little nervous about what the possibilities were, because for 6 weeks you don't talk. There's no
I
eye
can't
contact.
believe it.
No eye contact. Well, I mean, you have teachers, you talk to them, but
Yeah.
no eye contact, no talking, nothing. And and your day is 1 hour of sitting meditation and 1 hour of walking meditation, from 5:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night. That's your day. I mean, other than, you know, breakfast and lunch.
Do you mean do an hour,
Yep.
and an hour?
Yeah. Yeah, they have a bell. Somebody will whack the bell, and you just move on to the next thing. And then the following year, Marilyn was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So that kind of, I could see how that set me up for that.
Yeah.
And working my way through it. And I'd done a weekend retreat with Bob Thurman up in Omega, and Lama Suryadas. He was the one that gave me this when I left. He just said, and it was an invitation for him to be my teacher, but I was just stupid at the time. I thought it was just a gift or something. Drove away into the sunset.
Don't you ever go back?
To go back? Yeah.
I mean, to pick up the,
Oh, I haven't seen him since. I get his newsletter online, but yeah, the opportunity has kind of come and gone. I'm in a different place. He's in a different place.
The reason I was asking is my sister is into, I don't know where she is now, but I mean, you know, she's a Reiki master, and she, I don't know, keeps going.
The woo-woo stuff, as as Rick Barrett would say.
Yeah,
The woo-woo stuff.
In the right hands, it can work though.
It always works, yeah. It always works. It's just the interpretation that kind of gets a little fuzzy. But yeah, always works.
Well, I did my awareness about Reiki. I'm someone who I knew very well who was a Reiki master. Was on my first trip to China, and we were in the city in Beijing, in the in the big complex. I can't even say it now.
Oh, the Forbidden City.
Forbidden City.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm taking pictures like crazy.
Right, sure, yeah.
And I walked off of about a 2-foot drop.
Ah,
I landed on my knees on stone.
yikes.
And got up. And she said, "Come here." And she worked on my knees
Oh, good.
immediately. It was
Yeah.
just instantly.
Yeah.
And I still had some pain, but I was able to walk. And she worked on me the next couple of days, and I
Yeah, good to go.
good to go. So
Mm.
that could have been bad, I think.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I had something similar where I went to get into I was going to take a shower, step over the edge of the tub to get in, and I rammed my shin into the edge of the tub. And I knew from past experience, as I take a blood thinner, that I get a huge hematoma. And so I took my shower and hopped in the car, went down. Hillary I was married to Hillary at the time. She was still in her office, and I walked in, and she said, "Hey, see ya." And I said, "You got to work on me." I told her what happened, and she put me right up on the table and did her thing that she does,
Yeah.
and which is a healing, type of a hands-on thing. And I had no swelling at all. I actually didn't even have much of a black and blue mark.
Really?
Yeah, but she got to it right away.
Yeah, that's
and that
the
was
key.
the key to, yeah. And I mean, we talk about medicine being a science. It's still an art. And although my doctors may disagree with me, but people, they really don't know, and they really don't understand like spontaneous remission and that sort of thing, or the placebo effect as far as that goes, which has been getting bigger over time. It's over 35% now. I think when I first started Pfizer, it was around 25-30%. Which when we test drugs, we need to get that out in order to show efficacy of the drug. And it's not just the placebo effect. But that's, people have been practicing that for medicine for thousands of years. So there's real magic.
Yeah.
And of course, if you did your, well, you probably won't do your Ching until next week. But that'll give you some direction as well.
It will. An interesting year.
Yeah, I I did runes on New Year's,
Oh, yeah?
and, yeah, and I got a interesting reading, that's a good word to use. We'll see how it goes. The reading was pretty familiar.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
This is for this year, what's coming
Yeah,
up this year.
Yeah, that was my question, was what do I need for this year? What kind of information do I need for the new year? And, the rooms usually, well, or they each are either one. Painted introduction. With some detail. So we'll see. All right. What do you want?
I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, Ricky is the one that does it with the new year. I don't think he waits for the Chinese New Year.
I like to say,
Yeah, stick with the little calendar.
thankful that
Well, I can see that. Yeah.
So, maybe I'll change the discussion here.
This is very interesting. I can,
You never
not
know.
only the names, I can see I'm gonna be overwhelmed with you guys.
Yeah.
We like to talk, that's one of our issues. So I just, because it probably has thrown me a little off today. Jane's mom died last month.
Oh,
Well, it's been
Yeah.
tough, it's been tough. And she's gone, left, a little bit ago, for so you understand that if I seem a little off today. So,
Washington DC.
yeah, DC. So, where are you with this? We had a good class
We
last time.
did, yeah, thank you. And it got me going again. And then I got to the double arm, and so then I watched some of the video. Not the double. Way behind whatever energy you're moving around.
Wow, it moves for everybody.
If it wasn't, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, got you here.
Any questions or requests for things to address?
Just a review would be good. I watched the video, so I know what went on here last week.
Yeah, it was
Which
it was
is
a
good.
review.
Yeah, no, that's, it's with this practice, whenever I practice, it's like, okay, what do you want to do? I can do the single hand, I can do the double hand, I can do the four. I usually don't have, if I do all of them, I can't spend a lot of time on any one. So that's why the review might be helpful. Feel better about my right hand side than my left hand side. Left hand is still, especially with the format, spend a lot of time working on that. And the 8 gates, that
Yeah, the double arm, for whatever reason, be a little, it's, it's, it's asymmetrical symmetry. It's, can be a little confusing.
But you know what, it's mind-boggling to me that, I look at the video and I can't believe how much stuff I'm doing wrong. I can see it, you know? And you don't realize it. One in particular is when he came down like this, and I went like this. And you kept telling me, and I still kept doing it. Anyway, it is interesting to see yourself on that page.
Yeah.
And useful.
Yes, it is.
I've been rereading Master Joe's book, and I just I highly recommend reading that again if you haven't, or reading it the first time if you haven't. And there is in the chapter where he's talking about not just about theory, but about how to approach actually doing various kinds of practice. One of the things, one point he goes through the Wu Yujiang style's 13 important points. And I'm finding him again amazing. Just not having read it for, I think I actually put the book down probably for maybe 5 years. This may be the 10th time I've read it, but it is very helpful and very insightful. He was an amazing man. And this practice is, as you continue to work with it, it really is, it covers everything, it seems like. Eventually, nothing needs to be left out. Whether you can include everything is, of course, another question, but well, so on that note, I think I won't introduce anything new maybe today. You want something new?
Well, everything's going to be new anyway. So.
Well, let's do a little bit of review.
Okay.
And see where we are. We can always bring it in a little bit later. Believe me, I've got new things to add. Yes, I've been recording.
Just checking.
Perfectly all right. So let's stand up and maybe move the chairs out of the way. So let's start with our 8-gate standing. And we had talked a little bit about the C curve, the spinal curve. To whatever extent you can include that, that's a good thing. But more importantly, that initially you get the bending and extending and the continuous twisting or rotation. Those are certainly really important to make sure you have those initially. So stepping out. Coming into your basic alignments. Make sure you release down to your basic level. Feel your feet softening and merging down into the earth. Feel the weight centered. You can find that connection between the quad and the feet. With the knees stable and energy passing through the back of the knee. The head lifted. Sense of opening a little space at the base of your skull. Where it joins the spine. Aware of the space in your armpits. That very important tuck of the pelvis. So that the coccyx, your tailbone, is pointing straight down to the earth. Which helps open the movement of the energy from the spine down through the legs. Let yourself breathe. But as much longevity breathing as possible. Open your body. Have a sense of the chi sinking. So that the energy that cannot be used at the moment drops into the earth. It is cleansed and will return. Not necessarily to you, to some other living creature. Your whole body expand with the breath. And as you flow into the 8 gates, begin to bend, twist in, and then extend and twist out. And keep those movements going, although the pulsing is much smaller than the transitions. Size is not particularly important. It's the quality of the movement. Try to find the middle of each of those transitions. to maintain the connection of the elbow through the scapula to the spine. A distance that needs to remain constant. So questions in there?
I don't think so. So you mentioned the C curve. I don't.
Yeah. I stopped trying to do that a long time ago.
So the way I've been doing it is you go into the squat, and then into the C curve, and then over the feet, and then up.
So
Anyway, that's the way I've been doing
the C curve doesn't have anything to do with the claw squat.
it. Oh, no, the two are separate.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All right. Well, I just
But
wanted
I
to make
always
sure
started, I kind of always started with that for some reason. And then,
it is.
I guess you could start with that.
Well, there is you've already slightly tucked the pelvis to your basic position.
Right,
As you go into the C curve, obviously the pelvis tucks slightly further.
right.
You have to be sure you don't go too far. We had in one class recently, I had an interesting discussion about the fact that you don't do that tuck of the pelvis by tightening the abdominal muscles.
No,
That's not.
Right, that's the way I do it.
No, it is actually a release.
right,
It's a softening and opening the space in the lower spine. The top is that crane's neck, which has to include an extension as well as a slight bend forward, not too much. And those both occur simultaneously. And then as you come out of it, they also straighten simultaneously. And the difficulty about that movement is not so much in the lower spine, on the hips, but in the head. And that it's important that when you've gone into the crane's neck, that you don't come out by pushing the head back, which leads to lifting the chin and actually interrupting the flow of the energy through the neck. So the movement as the head straightens up has to be with the sense of going up.
right.
So that's kind of a quick.
Yeah. So when you start the C curve, when you got it, and then you start to straighten it out, it's going to start at the bottom. And
They both they both start at the same time.
oh, they both at the same time. Oh,
No, you're referring back to the Taoist spine stretch,
yes.
which is a specific exercise, which does involve bending the spine,
Right.
and all of those elements
Yeah.
we've talked about, except in a different way, in order to
Oh,
achieve a somewhat different intention.
Yeah, and heaven and earth too. It's,
Done the same way. It all happens at once.
oh, it happens. Okay. I wasn't doing that. I was kind of bending it and then zipping it back up again. Okay.
And however, as we learned in the Taoist spine stretch, the bend is opening spaces in the posterior side of the spine, and the straightening is opening spaces in the anterior side of the spine without losing those spaces in the posterior.
Oh,
So that was something we worked on in the Taoist spine stretch, but continues here in a subtly different movement.
yeah, yeah. All right. That changes everything.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that wasn't clear.
No, that's fine.
This relaxation, what's moving.
Well, you've gone into your basic position and leaving the neck alone for a moment. You're just going to allow the pelvis to tuck under. And you want to do it without tightening up the abdominal muscles to do it.
Yeah, you just let it go.
Yeah, you got to have the intention that it's going to just release and open that lower spine. Because any tension gets in the way of the flow of the energy. That's the last thing we want. So that's one of the things that will do is it will probably limit how much bend you start with. So there, if you try to do more, there's whatever amount there is that you can release without having a significant contraction. And then there's a little bit more and everything has tightened up. So you're only going to do whatever that first bit is, and it may only be a little, maybe it's only a tiny bit, but it will, you can feel it make a difference. You don't want to push beyond that. It's like the 70% rule, in a way. We're not really thinking particularly about 70% here, but so it is important not to try to overdo. It's not how much you can tuck that. It's how much can you let it tuck and not tighten up. Where is that? Easier said than done.
Yeah.
So then when the skull goes forward.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking again of heaven and earth.
Mm-hmm.
There's the C curve, and I believe it's the first two vertebrae. Probably got this backwards. When it goes forward, you're going to bend. You're going to keep the top two straight and bend between the second and third. No, and then when you do the second part of that, which is just straightforward, only the space comes between the first and the second.
Well, really, the first thing you're doing
Or do I have it backwards?
So the first thing you're doing, maybe it's trying to be too specific about.
Okay.
So the first thing is that extension of the neck, which actually will pass through the entire neck.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, one of your primary goals is to make sure that you've opened that space really between the vertebra and the skull.
Okay.
And that will also begin to open spaces, certainly in the upper vertebra.
Right.
Don't need to be
Okay.
too specific about it. And then when that bends, it should go, it goes all the way down into the top of, below C7.
Oh, okay. So there's no separate tilt up here.
Well, it
Does
is.
it all go together?
The two of them, these two go together.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the movement is really eventually one or a continuation. I mean, you can think of it as up and forward. It could be up and forward together.
Okay.
And eventually it will probably be pretty much together.
Yeah.
But initially, you need to think about the up first, because that's what makes the difference in keeping everything open in the neck.
Yeah.
As soon as you kind of, Bruce's classic way of doing it is putting a fist in your throat.
Oh,
And if you don't extend up, you just bend forward. You can hear what it begins to do right away. It affects breathing and your voice.
okay.
On the other hand, if you extend up and then go forward, then it doesn't do that.
Yeah. That's looser. Okay.
Keeps that open.
Okay. Right.
Your,
What?
your head goes up,
Uh-huh.
and then you keep it like that, and you just do this.
Well, you don't know. The movement probably is going to be very small. I'm coming here so I'm standing sideways to you. So you go up with the neck, and then you're going to go forward. Allow it to bend forward, but you want to feel it opening, certainly the neck and into the upper spine if you can. But you don't want to try to go way forward, because that's going to ultimately defeat what you're trying to do. So you have to, it's like everything else, there's a certain subtlety to it, in that you can overdo it. And this bend has to match this bend at the bottom. So the two have to work together. If you go here, that does not match this at all. The matching, however, is the neck will certainly arch and bend a little more than the lower spine, because it's far more flexible. So the sense of the relationship between the two is you'll have a smaller bend at the bottom than you will at the top, but you don't want to overdo the top either. Have I made it too confusing?
No, you felt.
Okay. Dave, why don't you come down here and we can walk,
Oh, we're gonna walk? Okay.
and that way I can walk in front of you, and maybe that'll be helpful, or maybe it won't. We'll see. So let's do the 8-count walk first. And one of the things to remember here is that we would like eventually for this to be a flow. So beginning, stepping out, coming in the center. Keep the arms alive, don't let them die. Step, shift forward and rotate and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And keep going. gotta be,
check and move your foot.
gotta be sure that you empty that toe enough that you can put it. You have to go up and down with the strap.
I'm working on that.
Well, it's better.
Some days are better than others.
So, all of a sudden, I forgot.
Okay. One, two. Not bad. Any question in there?
Blank.
Well,
I would blank.
that happens. You're not going to shoot you because you went blank. So why don't we turn around and do the single arm back? And I'll start with the right side.
Thank you.
So. One, two, three, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Work up to balance. Much better than it was, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and,
1, 2.
What?
1, 2, when you start,
so you start 7, 8,
okay,
7, 8,
8,
1.
to the right.
Mhm.
Okay.
2, 3. So, part of the balance thing is really making sure that when you move that body onto that new foot, that you sit on it, not lean into it.
Yeah. I think that's what's made the most improvement when I finally get that foot on the floor.
Yeah.
I think before I was just kind of putting it there and then kind of
You
hoping
would-
it all stayed.
You want to feel that your dantian going through your quad is going right down
Straight into the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me that's more, it's an intention kind of a thing
Well,
to set that
Yep.
and make sure that it's here. And also to not try doing this too early in the morning.
oh, okay. Yeah, I can understand that.
It's early in the morning, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
How about giving us another chance to go back down single line?
Sure.
I felt very awkward.
Which way you want to go?
I was
He
thinking,
wants to go this way.
Okay.
Just, let me say a couple other things here. The left, I'll do it with the other one. The left arm movement there. You are tending to get to lock up your shoulder as you
Oh.
go into it. And so part of that is keeping the elbow down and getting that first movement across the center line, just across the center line of the body. And then keeping the shoulder relaxing as it goes down.
Oh, okay.
So if you, that's part of the reason why you have to do that first movement. If you do this, I've already locked up my shoulder. And I can't get my elbow down.
Right.
Over here, I can get my elbow down.
Okay.
So, and that's also
Yep.
an area for you. to, yeah. So, I don't know if that's a help for me to do it or not, but I will a couple of times. And begin. Seven, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Is this what you're talking about?
Well, I was talking about the going down, but what is your,
So I'm just thinking, before I have my elbow up here,
yeah,
and you were saying it should be.
yeah. So straighten your foot might help a little. So yeah, that first movement is here, and that allows your elbow to drop if you relax your shoulder.
Okay.
And then continue on the other turn.
Right in front of it. That's it.
So let the elbow drop a little. So go across and let it relax, and then keep going down. 2, you're going to keep turning. And then 3, you're going to go the other
I knew that too.
way. Well, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
You want to take a break?
Yeah.
Break. Oh, really? Yeah. Should help. Questions?
That's better. Yeah, no, that's fine, that's good.
It's amazing,
Just
isn't
gotta
it?
get the left hand going.
Yeah. It's
Well, I know it didn't quite make sense when I was practicing at home, but I just kept on doing it that way.
oh, you look around, Dave, it's not there. No, the hell with it, I'll just do whatever I want.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
You know, it was interesting. I had Bruce places huge emphasis on keeping the elbow down.
Yeah,
Repeatedly talks about that. Master Joe doesn't talk about it so much, but when he does talk about it, he's really talking about it in the same terms. And so here this is a really interesting practice because how do you keep the elbow always pointing down? You can only do it if you relax the shoulder. There's no way that you can keep the elbow down unless you relax the shoulder.
right.
So that has to be the one of the key things. Now the elbow's going to keep moving. It doesn't point straight down and lock there,
No,
but downward rather than outward.
It looks like you're moving your arm with your body.
Oh, isn't that such a big surprise?
I wish you had told me that.
I tried.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. And I try to do it, but just watching you, all of a sudden you could really see it.
Good.
that's it. Yep, the arms don't move. The hands don't move.
You know, Master Joe had another practice that we did where we actually started like this, and then we did both arms simultaneously. And in that practice, we didn't move the arm here. We only did the arm here. So it made us focus on the fact that the arm was only doing what the body
Does, yeah.
That arm you have behind it, what is that doing?
It was doing the opposite.
I was afraid of that.
Yeah, ideally, what it's doing is doing the same thing, but I haven't done this practice for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm not as flexible as I used to be. But even just doing the one arm, just keep this one alive and do it. So it's the same thing that we're doing now, except the arm rotates only as much as the body rotates. So it's the same, almost the same thing, but a little different. But it really teaches you that connection between the arm and the body.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not part of this practice, but
No, but it's a good illustration.
yeah, good illustration.
Moving, moving the hand with the body.
Well, and then we come to the double arm.
Okay. Let's have at it.
So, do you have any specific questions about the double arm, or just okay? Well, I'll do it once here, and then I can do it over there, so you can see me better, Dave. To begin. And now both arms are turning and bending as we go 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, step back, 8, forward, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, transition, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, transition.
Between a 7, 8, and then the transition, where are you? Front and back, I kind of lost it there.
So on 8, you're facing straight ahead, and the arms are part way down here.
Okay.
And then you're going to do the same body movement as 1, 2. So the body is going to do 1, 2. But it's the transition. So actually, you're tracing part of the circle and then the rest of the circle, rest of the sphere.
You don't seem to be forward or back, you seem to be,
I am back.
right now you're back.
Here I was forward.
Okay, yep, got it,
Now I'm back,
yep,
still back.
yes. Okay.
Usually it's the other one that gets people. So, you want to try it?
Sure.
did that wrong.
Well, I followed it.
You did follow me well.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was easy.
Try it again. 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stay back. Now go forward. 8, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Trim. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Questions?
Yeah, I forgot. Oh, I know that. When you bring it around the second time.
Yeah.
I didn't think that.
I mean, after you've done this,
Right, let's see.
7, 8.
Yeah, and then you're gonna go to the other side.
So now you're going to go 1. So you're going into the S curve.
Yeah.
2,
Yeah, that's it.
3. Up the back of the ball. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, somewhere I wasn't doing that. Coming up the back of the wall.
Do you understand why those two ending positions are different? And you understand why, for instance, we have boom, boom.
Well, you got it. I think you, no, I don't. I was gonna
So
say something.
the reason is that is the
beginning.
expression of the energy cow, shoulder
Oh,
or bump. So the movement changes in order to be able to do that. Because if you if at this point you went forward, you wouldn't be able to do shoulder stroke like that. So there has to be a forward movement into that. And at the very end of the second repetition, the reason why this goes 7, 8 is that this is the lié split energy. So the 8 energies appear at certain places through this double arm practice, and so that's why those movements are the specific way they are. In a way, to allow you to begin to experience those energies before we get into the complexity of the form. Blah, blah, blah.
no, that's very, very good.
Question? Do you have a question, David?
No, I again, with the two hands. Bringing that one down again, but with the two hands, it's a little more confusing.
Well, it is, because it changes.
Where does it change?
Well,
Does it change here?
when we start, okay,
Yeah. Okay.
normally when you get to this point,
Yeah.
you would do this and this,
All right.
and that would be one way you might get through there, but you're in the wrong position and it doesn't allow you to express cow.
Oh.
Okay. So when you get to here, instead of that, you just rotate and then you go forward, which allows you to express that energy.
Oh, yep, you're right.
And then you have to transition, so there is another 7/8 to get you ready for 1, 2.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's where, yes.
And that's confusing at first, I completely understand.
Get here.
And your weight is forward.
Yeah, I'm back.
So you're back at
So
this
I'm
point.
doing, here.
You're back here.
Yeah.
You're going to just rotate.
Oh, I see, rotating into the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, okay.
You're
All
rotating,
right.
turning forward.
And then I come
And
up.
then you rotate
Yep.
to here.
Yeah.
Which if you think about cow,
Yeah.
okay, this is simply the Jin expression of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when I was doing it, I was back weighted. I was like this.
No.
Yeah, so you want to be,
No,
want
you-
to come into 6,
You want
and
to
then
go
go into the middle. Yeah.
boom,
Boom.
and then just rotate through the
Boom.
next 2.
Boom.
And then,
Oh, yeah, that makes a big difference. And then, okay. Yeah, that's where I got it. And I got here, it's got to be into the middle. Stay up there. Gotta learn to stay up there.
well, actually, you're staying back.
I'll start at the beginning.
Yeah.
1, 2,
7,
okay.
8,
Yeah, 8, 1, 2,
2,
3,
4, 5, 6, and now 7.
7.
Stay back. 8, forward. 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. Come up the back.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6,
6,
7, 8. Position.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
Doing that transition stuff, I still get my back foot and front foot mixed up. It would seem to me that it would be natural.
Well, when you finish 8, you finish the pattern, the A.
Yeah.
You've got to get back weighted to start again. Because here's where we begin.
Yes.
So from here to get to here, yes, you could do this, but no, we don't make it that easy.
Yeah.
We do boom, boom, so that you can use the body. Boom, boom,
Yeah, this is good.
Where are we on time?
2:30.
2:30?
Did we go
Where
past?
time's flying, yeah, well, it's 2:38, I guess, if you want to.
Yes, we've gone
Picky
past.
about it.
We're enjoying ourselves, that's why we went past.
I think I'm going to stop.
Okay,
Okay.
we will too.
We'll have to look at the form next time.
All right,
Thank you.
sounds good.
Thank you.
That was
Good.
good. Yeah, that'll make a difference.
I think that's what we needed to do
Yeah,
today.
well,
So
it's a
that-
new year, refresh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
depending on which calendar you're following.
Well, I just try to flow.
Yeah. You gotta flow with the go, and that's it. Oops. Well, safe travels for Jane.
Yeah, she's in the air right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a show. Where'd she fly out of, Hartford? Or,
Yeah, Hartford to DCA.
okay.
And her brother coming from Santa Fe this morning managed to also arrive at DCA at the same time, 3 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
So they're meeting at the airport.
Yep.
And taking a cab or something together
Right.
to Amy's.
Trying to figure out what to do.
Well, they got it figured out. Of course, wouldn't you know that Amy's husband Peter has come down with the flu? He doesn't have
Oh,
COVID.
geez.
He's tested
Negative.
several
Yeah.
times negative, so
Yeah.
he's got the regular flu. But he's gone down to the basement apartment and isolated himself.
Yeah. Well, I've had a couple friends that have come down with that.
The flu, if you get it this year,
It seems to be pretty nasty.
yeah, absolutely. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. I guess I haven't been sick in so long, I can't even remember.
I know, I haven't either, and
Yeah,
let's keep it that way.
yeah. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's not these masks. They're. Was I talking to somebody the other day? They said that's like wearing a St. Christopher. You know, when you go travel, you know,
Yeah.
Well,
the masks have become more of an amulet.
well,
Whatever.
it's a way of saying.
Yeah. Well, it does. I think now people kind of stay away from you anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, when I walk the boardwalk and we're outside,
yep,
it's 11 feet wide, plenty of room. You'll see people go
yep,
make an extra step away from me,
Yeah.
you know, and which I think is helpful. The old days, we used to just go into work when you were sick and give it to everybody else.
yep,
Exactly.
yes, that's right.
No days off.
But we don't do that anymore.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's smart.
We had a guy that went through his whole career without taking the day off. It was something like 45 years.
Yeah, Marilyn was like that. She never took a sick day
Hmm,
until she got sick.
yeah,
And then she actually had a year of sick days. You could save them up if you were a teacher.
oh, wow.
So I think she made it through. Yeah, she was hoping to make it through to the next school year, but she missed it by about 3 days. So that would have been, let's say, the beginning of September. And then she was out and all the way around till May 21st is when she died. So, and she was within 2 days. If she hadn't passed away, they would have retired her
Oh,
Huh.
because she, they would have retired her.
just have to
That was
go
tough.
the rules, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
It seems in cases like that, we could use some common sense and
Well,
do
yeah.
what is right for everyone.
Well, luckily I was retired by then, so I stayed home.
Yeah.
And I stayed, actually, she was absolutely petrified to be alone. So even when she went to hospital, she got a, her salome cavity would fill up with fluid. She got an infection. And she was in the hospital for 10 days, and she wouldn't, and I was there the whole 10 days.
You
Slept
stay
in.
overnight?
Yeah, I slept. They brought a chair in, and one of those recliner things. Gave me a couple of blankets. They showed me where the coffee machine was. I knew where the coffee machine was. I could get into the freezer and get all those little frozen things they give you. Raid that and the custards and then during the day somebody would come up and kind of spell me, and that's when I go out and go home, take a shower, and
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
But and they let her, and this was through into December, and then at St. Pat's they had lessons and carols coming up on Christmas. So we asked if we could take her out, the hospital for that. Of course, the nurses, and so we called Dr. Slater, and he said, no problem. He said, just don't go out, make sure you come back before midnight. And we borrowed one of the hospital wheelchairs, and she went and did that. And we drove around, looked at all the Christmas lights and all that stuff, and then back in the hospital.
Wow, that's great.
Oh.
Yeah, then they let her go home before Christmas, so, because they knew it didn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
With that, you might as well have fun
Huh.
as much as you can.
Yes.
That's no fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was.
That's it. And you just turn in your body and you got a new one.
Yeah. Well, Jean's probably out there saying, "What are they doing in there?"
Unless she fell asleep.
Ah, I thought that was you that fell asleep.
Well, I fall asleep driving.
That's why you don't drive.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what, she'll allow me to go a few miles,
Yeah.
but, I don't know, I can't say I turned over a new leaf, but I certainly keep myself very alert when I'm driving now.
Yeah. I've been going through that for years. All of a sudden, my eyeballs will start going like this,
yeah.
and I crank the window down, stick my hand out, start, jumping up and down, singing to the radio, whatever it takes.
Oh God, yeah, I see that. My voice is going completely in, so I don't dare sing when somebody else is around. I love to sing.
I know, it's fun.
All right.
We're on the road.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. We'll see you in
Thank
a
you.
couple of weeks. You got my check, I assume.
I did. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
We're good for another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.